All right, here we go. Real quick, just a quick overview of everything. Degrees to radians, real quick. Just our common ones here. 30 pi over 6, so these can go pretty quick here. 45, or any of these, I guess. Pi over 4, 60. Pi over 3, 90. Pi over 2, $1.80. Just pi, 270. 3 pi over 2, and then 360. 2 pi. All right, just want to keep those fresh. All right, so we don't have to waste time converting. All right, I know we just got done with this, but what's the point? I'm on the unit circle now. What's the point at 30? Radical 3 over 2, comma, 1/2. At 45? Yep, both of them are radical 2 over 2. And then how about at 60? You guys are good. And then from yesterday, if I'm on the unit circle, which one represents cosine? Which coordinate represents cosine? X coordinate, right? Represents cosine, and sine is represented by the y coordinate. Okay? So now, today, what we're going to do is, hey, now I'm going to be in different quadrants, and what do I know about sine and cosine? Positive or negative? Okay, so I've got your numWorks or graphing calculator ready to go for me, so you can check my work here. All right, so say I have an angle in the first quadrant. Say I have an angle in the first quadrant. What do I know about the sine and the cosine value? Grant, give me an angle in the first quadrant. 30. Everyone go ahead, type sine of 30 in for me. Make sure you're in degree mode. I don't know what you were in for the quick quiz. Make sure you're in degree mode. I don't know. I don't care what the answer is. I just want to know, is the answer positive or negative? If you do sine of 30, is your answer positive or negative? Everyone's positive. So in the everything in the first quadrant there, sine will be positive. And Grant gave me 30, so can everyone do cosine of 30 in your calculator? And tell me if that answer is positive. Also positive, right? All right. Doesn't that kind of make sense, though? I don't think I needed to have you guys use your calculators. Here's why. If I'm in quadrant 1, what do you know about all the x values? And what do you know about x? That's associated with which one, sine or cosine? Cosine. And what do you know about all the y values? They're also positive. Okay. So let's go to quad 2 now. Let's see if I don't want to ask anybody to use their calculator now. Let's go to quad 2. Okay, ready? Well, what do you know about the x's here? The x's are negative. So which one of these two should have negative values? Cosine should be negative. And what do you know about the y values in quad 2? Positive, right? So sine should be positive. And if you don't believe it or you want to check it, just pick an angle in quad 2 and do the sine and cosine. Ooh, what about quad 3? What do you think about the sine and cosine values in quad 3? Both should be negative, absolutely. Both should be negative. And then what about in quad 4? Should be. What do you think? Here's quad 4. What do you know about let's go x values? Positive. So what's going to be positive then? If the x's are positive, that means which one? What one represents x? Come on, cosine. Positive, and cosine will be negative. All right. Now, all right, relax. Okay, yeah, relax. Yeah, great. Sine should be also positive. Okay. Now, instead of going through that in your mind every time, is this positive? What goes with y? What goes with x? Let me give you a little trick that everybody uses to remember what's positive and where. All right. ASTC. All right, ASTC. What does these letters in these quadrants mean? Ready? And then I'll give you a little device to remember ASTC. A stands for all, meaning everything is positive in the first quadrant. Everything is positive. Any guesses what the S means in quad 2? Only sine is positive in quad 2. Everything else, negative. Ooh. We haven't talked about that. Well, we have, but not with x's and y's. Tangent. Tangent's the only thing positive in quadrant 3. Everything else is negative. And then the C for cosine. Okay, cosine. So this tells you where everything is positive, and then the rest are negative. All students take classes. That's how or if you have your own one and it's appropriate, you can share. If it's inappropriate, keep it to yourself. All right, all students take classes. That's how I remember it. All right, all students take classes. All right, so what I want to do, I'm going to give you an angle measure and either sine or cosine. I want you to tell me if it's positive or negative. All right, don't touch your calculator. We can do this without it. That's it. Your calculator's just the check. Sine a negative 2 pi, negative 2 pi over 3. Well, first of all, not a big fan of the radians because I can't really tell unless I'm in degrees what quadrant I'm in. Ready? Pi over 3. Pi over 3? 60 times negative 2. So this is negative, what? 60, right? Times negative 2. Negative 120. Still not a big fan. Why not? Of telling you what quadrant it's in. It's negative. How do I fix it to get it positive? Go ahead, add 360. So I'm really looking at what in this problem? Sine of 240. All right. Ready? Where's 240? Quadrant 3. What's the only thing positive in quadrant 3? Tangent. So what do I know about sine? It should be negative. Yep. Now, could I have typed that in my calculator and seen the negative decimal? Yep. But I'd rather you guys understand it first. Cosine 117. Where am I? 117. Quad 2. What's the only thing positive in quad 2? Sine. So that would mean this is negative. Yep. We could probably figure out what quadrant we're in, but I'm going to keep to my word here and make everything positive. So add 360 here. This is the same as the sine of 273. What quad am I in? 4. What's the only thing positive in 4? Cosine. So this will be negative value. 460. You like that number? A little too big, right? A little too big. So instead, make it smaller by subtracting 360. So you get sine of 100. Where's 100? 2. And what's positive in 2? So this will be. And guys, if you're wondering what I'm doing, just type in sine of 100 in your calculator, and you'll see that answer is going to be positive. That's what we're doing. Is it positive or negative? Radian, pi over 6.
30.
So I'm just asking for the cosine of 30. Where's 30? 1. Everything's positive in 1. All right, everything's positive in 1. See how I'm using this now, the ASTC, to figure out what's positive and what's negative in a certain quadrant. All right, now here your calculator is useless. Tell me what quad I'm in right now. Based on this information, tell me what quad. Cosine, what's that symbol here? Yep, cosine theta. I actually meant the next one, but what's that? Greater than, right? 0. Wait, greater than 0? That's just a fancy way of me saying what? It's positive, all right? So cosine's positive, and at the same time, sine is negative, less than 0. So I'm looking for one quadrant only where at the same time, cosine's positive and sine is negative. Okay, look at my quadrants here. I'm looking for the only quadrant where at the same time cosine's positive and sine would be negative at the very same time. All right, now look, could I pick quadrant 1? Well, cosine's positive there, but sine's not negative there. I need it to happen at the same time. Where's the other quadrant? Cosine's positive. 4, and is sine negative there? Yep, everything else is negative. So that's going to be quad 4. Questions how I got there? It's got to happen at the same time, not 2 different quadrants. All right, sine is greater than 0, and cosine greater than 0. Quad 1, both are positive in quad 1 at the same time. Good. And this used to be when I used to get fired up and everything doing these next 3 problems with you, but I don't get fired up anymore because you can just type it in your calculator. Okay, so go, make sure you're in degree mode. It takes the fire right out of me. Because it used to be, all right, what quadrant are we in? Positive or negative? Give me a reference angle. Where am I on the unit circle? Actually, you know what? Put your we'll do quick check. I just got to get some kind of enjoyment out of this. All right, instead of just having the calculator do the work. All right. Sine of 300. Where am I? 300. Quadrant 4. Tell me right away, is my final answer going to be positive or negative? Negative, because only cosine is, right? So negative sine 300. Get it smaller for me. What's the reference angle for 300? 60, right? 60. All right, go to the unit circle. What's the coordinate at 60? At 60, what was the coordinate at 60? Oh, no, just at 60. Forget the negative part. Just at 60 degrees, what's the coordinate? 1/2 radical 3 over 2. I just want to show you guys what we've been learning is coming all together now. And if I'm going to find sine, which one of these do I want? The x or the y? The y. And you said my answer has to be? Is that what came up on your calculator? That's where you get it from. Okay, you guys know how to do this without it, but just showing you. One more time. Just do this one more time. Don't use the calc. Ready? Cosine 210. What quad am I in? 3. So my answer is going to be? Negative. Yep. 210. Get a reference angle for me. 210. 210. Some of you guys can get this quick, huh? Becoming pros. 30?
Yeah.
Okay. 30. What's the point on the unit circle at 30? There, remember that was 60 over here, so radical 3 over 2, comma 1/2. And if I'm going to do cosine, which one am I looking for, the x or the y? Oh, you can have mine if you want, but right there in front of the picture. There you go. 30. Cosine. I know, big. It's like a fly just came in the room. Yes, I know.
Okay. Like a bumblebee or something.
Yeah.
Where's everything?
Yeah. Cosine x or y? X. So I want?
Negative radical 3 over 2.
And why is it negative again?
Because it's in the third quadrant.
And we're finding cosine, right? Okay. Does that agree with your calculator? Okay. I'll stop now, but you guys know how to do this. I want to just prove it to you. You know, you don't need a calculator to do the work for you. But go ahead, do cosine of negative 30. Your answer will be radical 3 over 2. Okay. All right, last thing I'm going to do with you here. Let me clear this out. You guys remember this before the quiz? What's that bad boy? Pythagorean theorem only can be used in what type of triangles? A right triangle. Yep. Okay, so just going to show you how this goes with sine and cosine now. I'm on the unit circle. What's my length here? What's the hypotenuse length? If I'm on the unit circle, 1. Yep. And everyone agrees that this was the y coordinate and this was the x coordinate on the x-axis, right? All right. So right now I can do this. Everyone agrees there? Where I just did that, I just used the 2 legs, plugged them in. All right, now let's get even more detailed. What did the x coordinate relate to? What did it relate to?
Cosine.
Cosine, right? X is cosine. What did y relate to?
Sine.
Okay, and that's what's on your packet right now. This is called the Pythagorean identity. If you know a cosine value, this is what you can use to find the other value. Okay, if you know a cosine, if you know one, you can find the other by using this right here. Okay, and that's what we're going to do to finish off class today. And again, I'm going to break the news to you. Your calculator's no help here, other than doing a couple calculations. Okay, we have to actually do this all out by hand here, so heads up. What do we got there again? That's what from yesterday? Alpha, right? It's the same thing. Theta, alpha, x, beta, it all means an angle. What quad are we in? Second quadrant, right? We know the sine value is 3/5. What's the cosine value then? Okay, so see how I'm giving you one, and now I'm looking for the other one. And the way we can do it is use our Pythagorean theorem. We just cosine. Now, I'm not going to put theta because what's our angle called here? Alpha. All right, so don't anybody get freaked out. I'm just putting an alpha in instead of a theta. Squared. A squared plus B squared here. Sine alpha squared equals what? Okay? If you know a cosine or you know one, you can find the other by using this little formula. All right, which value do I know up here? Sine, right? So watch. All I'm going to do is not going to go sine 3/5. This says sine of alpha is 3/5. So notice why I'm plugging in just 3/5. All I'm doing is taking this and substituting it in. All good? All right, and then I'm going to leave, this as cosine, because this is what I'm solving for. So does everyone see the substitution? I'm trying to solve for cosine alpha here. All right, let's. Now you can go to your calculator. You can't use solver here. It's not going to work. All right, solver will just give you what the alpha is equal to. I'm looking for cosine alpha instead. So we got to all use our algebra skills from last year here. 3/5 squared. You can do that on the calc. That should give you a nice little fraction. 9. Everyone, make sure you get 9/25 because I'm not helping you tomorrow on the quick quiz when I give you this. Make sure you can get 9/25 equal to 1. Next step, remember what I'm solving for right here. I got to get cosine alpha by itself. So I got to do some moving. What's got to move? 9/25. How's it going to move over? Yes, yes. Move it over. So cosine alpha squared equals, what's that bad boy? 16/25?
Yeah.
Not alone yet. Yeah, nice, nice. Square root that puppy. So now I have it all by itself. The cosine alpha. Hopefully your calculator's doing all the work for you, right? What we got? Question on how we got there before I give you the bad news. Any issues with the algebra? The bad news is we're wrong. Dig deep and tell me why we're wrong. And here's a hint. It had nothing to do with what we did here. This is all perfect. It has nothing to do why 4/5 is not the correct answer.
Because
What? Go ahead. Let's go. Let's go. What do you got?
Isn't it cosine of A and A is 3? Has to be negative. Oh wait, never mind.
Doesn't it have to be in degrees? No,
No,
never
no,
mind.
no.
My bad.
It has to be negative.
Why?
Because in quadrant 2.
Let's go. Let's go. Hey, this is why I asked you at the beginning. What quadrant were we in? What did we just find? What do you know about cosine in the second quadrant? It's negative, so we got to watch out for that. All right, so my answer should be -4/5. -4/5. All right, so we just got to pay attention to that, what quadrant we're in and what we're finding. All right, one more, and then you can get going on your own. Okay, so now instead of alpha, it's theta. Fine. Oh, what quadrant are we in? Okay, so why don't I have to worry about it? Everything's positive, right? So I don't have to worry about the negative at the end. Everything's positive. I'm giving you cosine here and looking for sine in simplest radical form. All right, so here we go. Cosine theta all squared plus sine theta all squared. Again, this is just Pythagorean theorem. That's all this is. But using cosine for x and sine for y. Okay, where's the 1/3 going in for? Okay, the whole thing, right? The whole thing, just not theta. Whole thing. So 1/3 squared plus This is a great little device if you have one and need the other. One-third squared? 1/9. How's those algebra skills? What do I need to move now? 1/9 over how? How? Oh, okay. Okay. One minus 1/9? 8/9, everybody? And again, I got to do for sine theta, not sine theta squared. So on both sides, square root. And again, I've played up these new numworks calculators because in the past we'd have to break this down ourselves and simplify a radical. But you guys just type in the square root of 8/9 and it'll do it for you.
Oh, but doesn't it say simple?
It says simplest radical form, right?
Oh, so we can't just leave it.
No. Oh, no. We're not going to leave it like that. No, go to your calculator and show you how to leave it though. And what's it telling you? 2 radical 2 over 3? Yeah. It'll let it just do the work for you. And again, keep it positive, right? Because what quad are we in? Quad 1. Everything's positive in quad 1. ASTC. All students take classes.